pleasant Friday to you. Welcome to Lone Star Park at Grand Prairie. I'm Jim Byers alongside Rodney Nelson, Railbird Rodney. We're here to analyze this Friday 8-race card. We're fast and firm. We're warm, not summer heat, but a little warm, a little muggy, but it's going to be a nice night. There will be a breeze/wind for the races tonight. That should help a little bit with the temperatures. Fast and firm on the racetracks. A small one-night carryover in the Jackpot Super High 5. And if you're so inclined, there is advanced wagering available today on tomorrow's Preakness Day card at Laurel Racecourse, which may one of these days soon become a training facility once they rebuild Pimlico and make it into the centerpiece of Maryland racing. First time since 1908 that the Preakness has not been run in Baltimore. It was run that year in Brooklyn at an old track called Gravesend, which held a lot of Preaknesses around the turn of the 20th century. It's going to be weird not having it at Pimlico with all those garish tents and all those people going wild in the infield.
Yeah, the infield. Did you ever watch the YouTube videos, the running of the urinals?
Occasionally,
I never
yes.
made it to Preakness, but that would be one of the things I would like to see.
Yeah.
The guys are trying to run all the way across
I picture young Rodney wanting to do that.
Young Rodney would have done that.
Not
old
Rodney,
no.
Not Rodney in his 40s, but maybe Rodney in his 20s.
20s would have done
gone for a porta potty run.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I have seen that. It's a pretty wild scene, but not this year. And we've got some local connections in the Preakness. You can watch and wager on it here tomorrow. Of course, Todd Fincher has a horse called The Hell We Did, who's a half-brother to Senor Buscador. He's one of the top-earning thoroughbreds of all time. Fincher, of course, with a string here. Steve Asmussen has Chip Honcho in the race. Donnie Von Hemel, former training stalwart here and Hall of Famer up in Oklahoma and in this entire region. Donnie is making an appearance with a horse named Crupper, who won a stakes race at Hot Springs this spring, along with the usual suspects in these races. So it's going to be fun. It's a weird Preakness without the Derby winner, but it is going to be an interesting race, I think.
Yeah, and not if you can't make it to Laurel, if you're not hopping that flight tonight, out here tomorrow we have our crawfish boil. Our annual crawfish boil will take place tomorrow night. We have live music on the stage in the Courtyard of
Champions.
Band
called Totally 80s.
Totally 80s.
Replacing the Zydeco band, which was originally scheduled. And if you're somebody like me, I vividly remember the 80s. Rodney probably doesn't remember them nearly as well.
I made it the 80s, but
yeah, you were there.
I think I saw Top Gun or something. That was probably the 80s.
Yeah,
Ghostbusters.
Oh, yeah, Ghostbusters. You might have been a little young for Beverly Hills Cop.
Oh, you know what? I have a kid named Axel. I always tell my wife I named him after Axel Foley, and she gets so mad about it. But that's why I like the name, is Axel Foley.
Yeah, that was a cool tune. I mean, the Axel F tune that came out of Beverly Hills Cop. All right. I think we have successfully killed enough time, so let's get on to race number 1. Arabians. This is a really good Arabian race because I spent a lot of time trying to decide between the 6 and the 7. Arby Made You Look is your pick. He is Rick Lee's pick. He's been a good second twice in a row, or she has. She's a filly. This is a maiden event, 7/8 of a mile, scratch the 1. I'm going to try Uptown Sandman, but Arby Made You Look, coming off a race where he was favored last time, kind of seems like one of those that's sitting on a maiden win, but I'm going to try to beat him.
Yeah, I went with RB Made You Look. I mean, like you said, I had to try to decide between the 6 and the 7 here. I went with RB Made You Look because that extra race of experience. I like that the horse has had one more race in Uptown Sandman. Sometimes that second race, they kind of bounce a little bit. But RB Made You Look. I mean, 2 consecutive second-place finishes. Most recent one just missed by a head in that race. Both of them come in 7-horse fields like we got tonight with that scratch. But the question mark is you see that last time 5.5, this horse ended up getting caught toward the end. So now we're going 7 furlongs. So you're going to have to add on some distance for RB Made You Look. But Uptown Sandman, I think if anyone can catch RB Made You Look, it's going to be the 6 there. Horse is coming in here off a solid second-place run last time out. I mean, made up a lot of ground. You can see this horse got out last in the gate and ended up in second just by a neck. And then I took number 8, WMA Baby Doll, as my third choice. A couple thirds and a fourth in the 3 races for WMA Baby Doll, but If you remember last Friday night in our Arabian race, we both went with a big favorite, and we had a horse that was like 30-1 winning.
Yeah.
So there are some long shots out there. If you don't, one of these favorites doesn't come in, it could be a nice payday for somebody in this Arabian race.
My fear with RB Made You Look is maybe she is becoming kind of a trial horse, meaning she runs really well, but somebody generally beats her. So if you can beat her, that's the trial. If you can beat her, you win the race. That might be unfair for a filly that's only had 2 starts and did run well last time, even while failing to hold the lead. Uptown Bad Decisions, who won that race, came back as an odds-on favorite and ran second in the subsequent race. RB Nashville, who beat RB Made You Look in the career debut, came back and ran 4th in that very same race last week. I went with Uptown Sandman because this colt, as you mentioned, didn't get out well, ducked out at the start, had an awkward start, ducked out, was way out there. And the rider, Mario Fuentes, tried to steer him back in. I mean, he was out beyond the middle of the racetrack. Finally got him steered back in, and his full brother and stablemate, Uptown White Collar, who was favored in the race, beat him by about this much. And Uptown White Collar dug in and ran well. So did Uptown Sandman. He nearly caught his brother. It was really cool seeing those Gray brothers battle. And so I'm going to try Uptown Sandman, hoping he gets off to a better start. Race 2. No super on the second race. Scratch number 5, Holiday Lines. Texas bred, $7,500 claimers, and they'll go 6 furlongs.
So I am on number 3, Vietnam Victory. So this horse trained by Jared Nestle Torres. We'll see if he can't pull off the early double with two different breeds of horses.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll get the Arabian and this one here for the thoroughbreds.
Valdez Jimenez,
right?
Aboard on both.
But Vietnam Victory, you can see this horse the last few races had been running at the $10,000 claiming level. Ran 3rd last time out. The first 2 horses were way out there in front, but Vietnam Victory did lead the rest of them. Before that, this horse picked up a win at the $10,000 level. All 3 of those races I mentioned were at Sam Houston and went 6.5, so now he's going to drop that half a furlong off. We'll see what happens with Vietnam Victory, but I got the horse on top here over number 1. He's a cool cat. This is a horse that we've seen out here 9 different times so far in his career and has hit the board in 5 of those 9 starts. Does have a win out here. Does have a couple wins at this 6 furlong distance as well. But you can see he's a cool cat. Been running in, say, some lower races than Vietnam Victory has. And then I took Team Gormley, the number 6 horse, as my 3rd selection. I see you have the horse on top. I like the horse that's coming in here off a win. But I'll let you expand a little bit more on Team Gormley here.
Kind of surprised Rick Lee, who will be joining us later tonight, but will be here tomorrow in this space, didn't pick Team Gormley because he always picks him. I mean, one thing that's really reliable is Rick picking Team Gormley, but that must mean he really likes Vietnam Victory, who does have every right to win this race. They're close on the morning line, 9-5 and 2-1. I took the 6 only because he loves this racetrack. Now, Vietnam Victory loves this racetrack too. He's 3 for 7 on this track. Team Gormley's 4 for 7. Virtually identical records on this racetrack. Their career records are pretty similar. Vietnam Victory's earned a little more money, but they're both experienced 6-year-old geldings. And they've both run against each other before. In fact, Vietnam Victory finished ahead of him 2 starts ago while they ran 3rd and 4th, respectively. I'm going to go with Gormley simply because he comes out of a good race. He loves the racetrack, and he has a really fast work since that opening weekend race here. And I just like to see that recent activity. Vietnam Victory has had a couple of months off, almost 2 months off, not quite, and has just the one work to show. I'm sure he'll be ready here, but good matchup between those two, especially in that race. On to the 3rd. 5/8 of a mile on the grass. So really wide open race. These are all older horses, non-winners of 2 races other than, or non-winners of 3, or non-winners of a race since November 15th, or 30,000 claiming.
A lot of different ways to get into this one.
So, temporary rails at 20. Scratch the 6 Pally Kitten, who once ran 11th out of 12 in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf Sprint a couple of years ago at Del Mar. He was coming back second off a long layoff, but he'll have to wait for another day.
Yeah, I had that horse on top. I mean, had some blazing workouts, too, out here. But, hey, Polly Kitten not in tonight, so let's go with Initialize, the number 7. Last time out, this horse ran 7 of 7 in that race, beaten by 6 lengths. So, I mean, let's take a look at why. Maybe it's because it was at the 1 mile distance. The horse didn't like going long, because if you look at the 2 races before that, at 5 furlongs on the turf, Initialize was the winner of both of them. I mean, this horse shows some early speed in those last 3 races. So maybe he just got tired out for that 1 mile distance. But if you look at the 5 furlongs, you can see that Initialize is 3 for 3 at this distance. So a perfect record there. All 3 of those wins coming on the grass as well. So we'll see if Initialize can't get to the winner's circle once again. I think this horse might have a good shot to do it. Number 1, Available Star. That's going to be my second choice here. This horse is coming in here right off a win last time out. Was claimed out of that race, so goes to the new barn. Abel Rodriguez. He's pretty good with first-timers in his barn. So I like Available Star there. And then I took number 5, Stayed In for Half, as my second choice. This is a horse that has run out here a ton, 7 different times, and has hit the board in 4 of those 7 starts. Has 5 wins out of 27 tries at 5 furlongs as well. So this 7-year-old gelding has had a lot of chances at this distance. A lot of them on the turf. I mean, he's already won $350,000. So we'll see if this gelding can't get up there for a minor piece of the prize. I got a 7-1-5 in race 3.
Stayed In for Half. I mean, there are few horses around who are more reliable to put in a good effort. He doesn't win a whole lot lately. I mean, he's 1 for 14 over the calendar years 25 and 26, but strong efforts. He has been second 6 of his last 7 starts, but all really good efforts. He's a true turf sprinter. Off a little break, he came back really running hard in a race with Let's Go Mark last time. So, he's a nice one. Available Star. First time Abel Ramirez Rodriguez. That's usually a good angle. He is really good off the claim. I went with Initialize as well. I mean, last time he was in a mile race and he set the pace. That was in early April at Houston, but he's a sprinter. He's a dyed-in-the-wool sprinter. In fact, he's never lost turf sprinting at this exact distance. He spent a bit of time not sprinting in his 10-race career, but they started him. Brendan Walsh did, and it's hard to question that barn, but they started him as a route horse. I think he's a sprinter. He's fast, so I like him. I did look up the name of the 4, Innova. Some callers have announced it as Innova, but you know what? I looked up. Do you play disc golf at all?
I don't, but Billy does. Billy Gregory.
Oh, okay.
You know Billy around here? Yeah,
well,
he plays a lot of Frisbee golf.
Innova, I don't know if they named the horse after, but Innova is a company that makes the discs that you fling. And I was watching a YouTube video, and apparently the way those discs, or we'd call them Frisbees probably, but that's a brand name, the way they're constructed to either be like long-distance flyers, like longer clubs in golf, or shorter, or whatever. But Innova is a big disc manufacturer. So that's all I know about that.
Every day.
Yeah, I know. I also learned today that the Black-Eyed Susan is not a Grade 1 race, and according to Wikipedia, it has never been. It's like the Kentucky Oaks. It's always run the day before the Preakness, and it's been won by some great fillies in the last 40 years or so. But since it's been graded according to Wikipedia, it's always been a Grade 2, which is odd to me. But on to the 4th. I'm full of useless information. Race 4. Texas-bred non-winners of 2 allowance fillies, 6.5 furlongs the distance. And I see you're picking against Claire's Curlin. I've been waiting for Claire's Curlin to come back after a really, really impressive maiden win. She's a 3-year-old taking on some older rivals here. And this is definitely not a walkover or a cinch type deal. And I see you're going with My Conquest, who I was on her bandwagon against maidens last time and got a nice 4-length winner out of that.
Yeah, I wanted to pick Claire's Curlin. I've been waiting for this horse to run back. That debut for the horse I thought was very impressive, won about 5.5. But I'm going with My Conquest here. Claire's Curlin's only had 1 race. My Conquest is going to be the 4th race for this filly. The first two of them down at Sam Houston were in stakes races. And set the pace in those stakes races early on. Most recent race came out here at Lone Star Park after a little bit of a break from February to April. Got back on the racetrack out here on April the 19th in the maiden special weight. Ran well in that one, winning it by 4 lengths. And much like Claire's Curlin, if you look at the comments there, both of them, it says drew off. So I went with the horse with a little bit more experience. Those 2 stakes races, I think, being out there early was good for My Conquest, and it seems like all these horses owned by Highlander Training Center seem to pick up wins out here a lot of times.
Yeah, they've been off to a good start.
Yeah, so I'll go ahead and take My Conquest on top of Claire's Curlin, and then I got number 4 for the home front as my third choice here. Back-to-back third-place finishes, had a win before that. I mean, this is a horse that gets up and hits the board, no doubt about it. Has hit the board every race so far this year, every race last year, and every race in this horse's career. This horse has been in the top 3. So I don't want to break that streak now. I got it 3, 7, and 4 here in race 4.
For the home front has the advantage of being 4, which both Claire's Curlin and My Conquest are 3-year-olds. Sometimes there can be a difference early in the year, and this still is a little early for 3-year-olds to take on older, but not radically so. Plus, like you say, For the home front's always there at the end, and since she switched into Eduardo Cruz's barn, it looks like she's even gotten a little bit better. And her 60 Beyer fig last time out in a race with Texas Speed Queen and Cowgirl Dream, who's also in this field, it was a pretty impressive speed figure. It's going to be good enough to maybe win this. Claire's Curlin against Maidens just had the look of a filly that could come right back and win against non-winners of 2. That's not a very easy thing to do. It's a little bit like the gap right now between AAA and the big leagues in baseball. They say that gap's never been bigger than right now, I guess because there's a lot of young talent in the big leagues or whatever. But when you go from facing maidens, even beating them impressively, to facing horses, a whole group that have broken their maidens, and maybe some have run against non-winners of 2, that's a big jump, and both are top picks, or the 3 and the 7 are both doing that in this case. But Claire's Curlin just looked like the type, might be able to handle that. On to the 5th, 1 mile on the grass. Scratch number 5, Vacoma Kid, who was coming into this race off an absolutely rocket half-mile breeze on May 1st. But, and scratch the 9, Jolly Samurai. 3-year-olds and up, but these are all older. $20,000 the price tag. You can be a non-winner of 4 or a non-winner of this year.
I went with number 6, Bold Discovery. So you can see that, if you look, 2, 3, 4 races back, even 5 races back, see this horse was running for a higher claiming price. See some $30,000 race, a $40,000 race there. At Churchill, this horse was in for an allowance optional claiming at $80,000. So, taking the class drop here, I'll take Bold Discovery. Robertino Diodoro, he has his horses ready to run out at Lone Star. Mm-hmm. It seems more often than not. So I'll go ahead and take the 6 here. I got the 1, what is that? You're
a My Style.
You're a My Style.
Yeah.
All right. I'll go with that. Wasn't too hot last time out. That was 1 mile to Oaklawn. Ended up running 7 of 8 in that race, but was the winner in the race before that, going a mile as well. This horse has only been on the grass 1 time, so we'll see if the second time is a charm for You're My Style, the 1 horse. And then I got number 8, Morlana Spirit, as my 3rd selection here. Last time out at Will Rogers, this horse did go a mile in a handicap race there. Was second all the way around the racetrack in a 6-horse field. And if you look back through some of these horses that Morlana Spirit has run against, you see a lot of italicized names there.
Yeah.
Whiskey Not Wine, we've seen that horse out here before. This horse has been running to get some next out winners, not only at Will Rogers Downs, but Sam Houston, Remington as well. So we'll see if this horse is ready to go tonight. Might get some decent odds on Morlana Spirit, but I got it 6, 1, and 8 in race 5.
Yeah, the only reason I left him off, and I leave Carrie Craddock horses off, especially on the turf, very nervously because she wins a lot of those, is this horse he seems to prefer the dirt. He's 1 for 11 on the turf, but he does compete. Most of the time, he's a pretty good competitor. It just seems like the last couple of years he has really not run too well on the turf. You got to go back to about a year ago here, 4 turf races back when he last ran a really nice turf race. But this is a wide open race. The morning line favorite in here is 3-1. That means it's wide open by definition. I'm going to try horse coming off a layoff since the 1st of November, Imuakai, number 4. I think maybe he's a little more reliable to close ground than Bold Discovery. They're both closers, and they both could get a really nice trip. They're both non-winners of 4. They're getting in on that angle. I just think maybe Imuakai is tossed that last race because obviously something happened to him and he didn't close ground, but he also went on the shelf for the whole winter and early spring. But his other races, unless he's overmatched, he generally closes ground. I think he'll get a good trip, and Matt Hebert's due to heat up. So I'm going to go with Imuakai over Bold Discovery and You're My Style. And I think team leader, this is a race where Mindy Willis and Stuart Elliott sometimes sneak up on you at a big price.
Yeah, they've done that before at a big price.
They're always very dangerous to just ignore in a race like that. Race 6, no super on the 6th. Scratch number 3, Young Pope. He's not eligible anymore. He's no longer a non-winner of 2. And scratch number 4, Noble Eagle. That was my original top choice. So that leaves us with a field of 5, no super, non-winners of 2, lower-level claimers going 6 furlongs.
Yeah, so I think this is going to be a fun race here. For all those people out there that complain that there's not enough time between the Kentucky Derby and the Preakness, take a look at this race. We got 3 of the 5 in here that ran in like the last 2 weeks out here.
Oh, yeah.
We had a couple of them that ran last week out here on the 8th.
That's right. Nobody worries about the lag with these horses, but
right.
it could be a little different with your top 3-year-olds. But, yeah, our war horses keep coming at it.
Let's go ahead and find a winner here, one that didn't run in the month of May. I'm going with number 5,
Amentum. I guess it's Amentum, like momentum, but
that sounds good enough.
So I'm going with Amentum.
All right, so you see the last 4 races for this horse, all of them up in Hot Springs, Arkansas. Did fairly well up there. If you overlook that last one, when this horse was in those maiden claiming races, you see a first, a second, and a third there. So it was competitive in those races. Most recent one went in for a tag there at Hot Springs.
Yeah.
Ended up
12-5, by the way, was the
6
tag.
of 11 in that race.
Yeah.
You can see there's a little indicator there that the horse had some trouble, some traffic, it says. So I'll draw a line through that one. A lot of these horses that come from Hot Springs here run fairly well. This one in here for $5,000 today. I don't see why this horse couldn't pick up win number 2 in this short field. Took number 7, I Love Mangoes, as my second choice. Making a drop from those last 2 races at the $20,000 tag in here for 5. This horse does have a win. That happened last year. Had a 1 third-place finish out of 3 tries so far this year. And then I got the horse on the inside, number 1, Spun Out of My Mind, as my third choice. I would bet that this horse jumps out and tries to get out there to a lead. And we'll see if he can't hold on. I mean, just got caught in the last 2 races. I say just got caught, but last time his horse was beaten by 13.5 after leading the race. But we'll see what Spun Out of My Mind can do. I think his horse has some speed. Should be up there in the front. They're all going to be trying to chase this one down. 5, 7, and 1 is how I see race 6.
Spun Out of My Mind had to deal with another horse pressing him really hard on a contested pace last time, going 7/8. I think going 6 furlongs will help him, and I don't think there's nearly as much speed in this race as there was last time. Maybe the filly I Love Mangoes occasionally likes to go out and put pressure on the lead, but that may have cost Spun Out of My Mind last time. I think the shorter distance will help. He certainly has good speed. Cosmimi Said caught him and drew away from him last time, and Cosmimi Said is in the 2 hole here, but I'm going with Amentum as well. I normally will always pick against a horse that was a recent voided claim because of a vet issue. Amentum was in for 12-5 last time at Hot Springs. There was a claim in on the horse, and he didn't pass the post-race vet check. Now, there can be a lot of things that can cause the vet to not pass a horse, especially at a HISA track like Oaklawn. I mean, the horse could have had, a sniffle or, just been a tiny bit maybe off, behind or something. But I still don't think it's a good sign. It's not to say this horse isn't going to be ready to go. He does have a fast work since. I'm sure it'll be all systems go, but I scratch into him, so I'll take him. But I don't have a great deal of confidence that I've narrowed in. I mean, he's going to be bet pretty hard, but I don't like those Vs. That's just personal opinion. I don't know if necessarily they're at a disadvantage when they come back. The 7th race, race 7, a real raffle, as we sometimes say. I'm going with a shot in this one. 6.5 furlongs, Texas bred, non-winners of 2. Scratch number 9, Fly Redbird Fly.
Yeah, I think this is a race where you can make some money here. I think all the horses I have are, they're all three of my top choices. They're 10-1 on the morning line. So let's talk about Shop Time, number 7 here. This horse was a stakes winner so far this year. Back in February, won the Jim's Orbit Stakes down at Sam Houston Race Park. That's a 6-furlong race, so it was sprinting. Picked up the win by half a length in that. Went into the Texas Thoroughbred Association Derby after that. Ended up running 4th of 8. Was beaten by 20 1/4. But those first few horses were up there way in front of everybody else. Last time out was an allowance optional claiming on a sloppy track, so I'm making an excuse for that. So it looks like the last 2 races I got an excuse for Shop Time. But that Jim's Orbit win, I'm really looking at this horse and what's really turning me on to this one. 10-1 on the morning line. Give me Shop Time on top. Number 2, Passed Over, another 10-1 horse. That's my second choice. It's had 2 races. Had a good improvement from race 1 to race 2. Won that most recent race by 2.5 lengths. That was back in March. And then I got number 1, Battalion Leader, as my third choice. This could be one of those Mindy Willis, Stuart Elliott combinations that pops at a big price. But I see you have the horse on top, right?
This is an interesting story, Battalion Leader. I even did a little Googling on this horse. Texas bred, was bred and owned by Kathy and Gary Hall. I did a little Google searching. I believe they're from Ocala, Florida, approximately. They have a ranch in Texas. So they breed in Texas, but as you see, this horse started his career. He's a 3-year-old. Started his career in Florida. Ran 9 times between Gulfstream and Tampa Bay. Let's be honest. I don't know those conditioners, the 3 trainers that have had this guy, but they're a combined 1 for 79. So I'm thinking that getting to Mindy Willis's barn and bringing the horse out of Florida and into here is going to help. Plus, his last race, he was going 1 mile and 40 yards, and I think it's pretty obvious he's a one-turn horse. He broke his maiden going 1 turn. They tried it on turf. They tried him going 2 turns on synthetic, beaten wide margins. So I'm going to try him here. He's back sprinting. It's a wide open race. I don't think anybody is getting to win it in an Uber ride of the Beyer par of 70 in this race. Very few of these have even approached a 70. So that tells me wide open. Slammin' Sammy just ran 1 mile behind a bunch of stakes horses in his last start, but his sprint races were not that bad. Cool Agent, who was Rick's top pick, added blinkers, went 2 turns last time. Highly unsuccessful. He really chucked it in late, but I think he's capable of being a really good sprint horse. So I would be on the lookout for him. Passed Over, your second pick, I agree, comes off a nice win at Houston. So a lot of chances, a lot of ways to go in that race. The finale, race 8. Your Jackpot Super High 5 race, we have a one-day carryover of $302. These are non-winners of 3 fillies. They're in for a $25,000 tag. They're 3 years old and up. And scratch all 3 of the also eligibles, 11, 12, 13.
All right, so let's take another swing here. Number 2, Courtin' by Moonlight. That's going to be my top choice. This horse has a 15-1 morning line, but has put together back-to-back wins. You look 2 starts back. This horse won that race by 11.5 to Breaker Maiden at Sam Houston. Followed that back up with a 1-mile race down there in Houston again in March. Won that race by 1.5 lengths. So I like that the horse has been rolling in those last 2 races. If you look 3 back, that was the only time this horse has been on the grass. Wasn't a bad effort. Ran 3rd of 8 in that one, so not so bad at all there. I think Courtin' by Moonlight, this could be one at some pretty big odds to come in here in the finale. Number 3, Chicka Chick. That's going to be my second choice here. Coming in here right off a win. I like that. The 2 races before, you see this horse was in stakes races at the fairgrounds. Was overmatched in both of those races, but those were sandwiched in between that maiden-breaking win and the most recent win. So this horse can move. And then I took number 9. She's a Gold Lady as my third choice. Horse has some speed early on. has a lot of experience on the grass, 16 lifetime races, and has hit the board in 7 of those 16 races. Doesn't have the win yet at this distance or here at Lone Star Park, but she's a gold lady. Should have a pretty good run in her tonight. Give me at 239 in the nightcap.
The thing about she's a gold lady is she has speed, and that'll always help you, and she's starting toward the outside, but she's got enough speed to get into a good position. So you can win from anywhere on this turf course, but it never hurts to have speed and be forwardly placed. And she is up in, if not leading, which she frequently does, she is up in every race because of that. I'm going with Wandering Kirby, Abel Ramirez Rodriguez. They entered this filly, who has not started since September, so more than 6-month layoff. They started her, or they entered her the first Saturday of the meet, and the race came off the turf and she was scratched. So that set her back a little bit, but they claimed this filly last year here at Lone Star for $75,000, one of the more expensive claims I've seen since I've been here in 11 seasons. They took her to Ellis, found it going a little tough, but didn't run badly at 19-1. Then they put her in a tough allowance at Churchill, 50-1, kind of ran like it, and then she went to the shelf. So it's questionable whether this claim will work out. Now they bring her back in for $25,000 after a long layoff, but she seems to be training well. I think the base ability is there. She certainly likes the turf and has won over this course already, which I like. Doesn't absolutely have to have the lead, so I'm going to take her. Ruby Cantu is intriguing to me. She is usually closing late, and she is dropping out of a tough field at Houston back on March 27th. Is a slow worker, but I think if she's getting to a level where she can close ground. I am impressed with Courtin by Moonlight's last 2 wins. Her ability on turf remains to be seen, but I don't think she hates it. She was favored in her one turf race. Chicka Chick did a nice job. That was only a 4-horse field that Louisiana-bred faced last time, but she's done a pretty nice job when she wasn't overmatched in Louisiana-bred stakes. Get ready, gal. I think the turf will help her. Her last race was just very so-so in an off-the-turf race at LAD. So there's a lot, and a horse like, got another Carrie Craddock in here, Kamikaze, who's an Oklahoma bred who just beat a turf field at Houston. So good way to get out in that last race. All right. Well, I guess we will, you and I will do it again next week. That's but right. You'll be around, I'll be around. We got another sweet tour tonight.
That's right.
7:15 inside the east entrance doors. If you'd like to see a suite, to consider bringing your family or your family reunion or a corporate party group out here.
Or if you want to just do it by yourself.
Yeah,
I'm sure they'll charge you a minimum charge. You can hang out by yourself.
There you go.
But it's always nice to have friends, right?
True. 7:15 will be that free tour. Otherwise, we're 32 minutes to post for the first. Thanks for looking in tonight, and good luck. In the event of an emergency, Lone Star Park is dedicated to ensuring the safety of our patrons. This video illustrates the proper evacuation protocol from all public locations in the Lone Star Park Grandstand facility. Depending on the nature of the emergency, directions may be altered. Please remain calm and follow the direction of Lone Star Park employees and security personnel. Patrons should never use elevators during an evacuation. Suite levels 5 and 6 have 3 stairwells that patrons should use to exit the building. 2 stairwells on either far end of the building and 1 next to the elevators. Look for the nearest exit sign, follow stairwell signage, and exit the building at track level. Silks Dining has 5 stairwells that patrons should use to exit the building. 2 stairwells on either far end of the building that are accessible through either the Jockey Club or Paddock Lounge, and 3 centrally located stairwells near the elevators, escalators, and buffet. Look for the nearest exit sign, follow stairwell signage, and exit the building at track level.
Level 2 has 5 stairwells that patrons should use to exit the building. 2 on either far end of the building that are accessible through the Alishiba room and in front of the far west side bathrooms, and 3 centrally located stairwells near the elevators, mustards, and feed sack. Look for the nearest exit sign, follow stairwell signage, and exit the building at track level. The track level has 2 main exits on either side of the grandstand that patrons should use to exit the building. Near the west and east escalators. Follow signage and exit the building. Remember to always exit towards the paddock and never towards the track. If severe weather occurs and shelter in place is issued, all patrons will take shelter on the basement level. The grandstand has 2 stairwells on either far end of the building that extend to all floors. Calmly head towards whichever end of the building is closest to you. Look for an exit sign and walk down the stairs following all signage and security staff instructions to shelter in the basement level.